two. One, two, and.
Back in 1974, when I was making my first solo album out in LA, I had asked for all my favorite musicians to be on the album, and I was thrilled to find myself in the studio with people like Dr. John, who not only contributed all his wonderful piano playing, but brought a lot of great ideas to the project as well. And as we were going along, one day he came into the studio and said, "I think I got the perfect song for you." And he played me Lulu Barker singing "Don't You Feel My Leg." And everybody just thought it was a cute song, kind of naughty and bawdy. So I put it on the album. And that album also contained a goofy little song about a camel called "Midnight at the Oasis," which for some unknown reason became a huge hit. People still remember me for that, even though this is my 41st album since then. "Don't You Feel My Leg" actually became the first most requested. Everybody really loved that song. At the time, Warner Brothers was afraid that putting that out as my second single might label me as a red-hot mama or a sex symbol. They said, "You gotta realize you might be pigeonholed as that for the rest of your life." I thought about it over the weekend, and I came back in, and little innocent fool that I was, I said, "You're right. I want to be known as a serious artiste." So we didn't release "Don't You Feel My Leg," but it still became everybody's cult favorite, and I still get more requests for that song than any other.
This record started a few years ago. A guitar player in town, Detroit Brooks, put on a festival honoring Danny Barker, and he asked Maria would she do a tribute to Lulu Barker. So she called me, and I put a bunch of people together, and it was the second we played the same thing. Oh man, everyone was saying, "We got to make a record."
Maria does a wonderful, wonderful job of capturing the spirit of Lulu's voice and of her intent through her vocals and her styles that she sings and presents this music in.
It took a couple years to get this all together, and it was always in the back of her mind we should come in the studio and do a tribute to Lulu.
I'm just thrilled to be down here in New Orleans with some of the best players there are.
Maria Muldaur has always had a special connection to New Orleans.
I first came down here in 1964 when I was in a band called the Jim Kweskin Jug Band. We were on our way to California, and we were in our VW bus making our way across the country, and we stopped in New Orleans for a few days, and I fell in love with it then and there. The minute you get to the middle of the city, you just pick up a vibe, you pick up a spirit.
Getting a lot of the New Orleans essence and flavor, a lot of it came from the area, the music, the people that helped form it and create it.
There's a certain spirit that comes from the music. It's a spirit of truth and a spirit of honesty and a spirit of just really being yourself and letting the music speak to you in such a way that it causes you to it has an influence on you. And when you hear it, it sparks you to either jump up and dance or clap your hand, pat your feet, bob your head, or do something, because the music is so spirited. And the spirit comes from really just being honest and unpretentious. I think that's the true essence of New Orleans and New Orleans music and New Orleans culture and New Orleans jazz music.
The music comes from the food, the streets, like the atmosphere itself. In playing traditional jazz, I think it's the same thing. You're around it all the time. It's special to this place, so I think you have to come and be a part of it before you take it somewhere else.
The old guard that still lives here and still remembers musicians and people like Lulu Barker and Danny Barker and, Alan Toussaint, the Neville Brothers, and all those that came before them. Keep something alive that the world really needs more than it even knows it needs it. There's something here that's laid back, it's relaxed, people are more spontaneous, they're more childlike in a way here. There's something that harks back to an older, gentler, more relaxed time. So that makes making music here special.
They're going to hear the essence of New Orleans, and they're going to hear the feeling in the heart, the love and the life that's put into the music.
Maria Muldaur is the most intriguing and complete New Orleans artist that's not from New Orleans I've ever played with. She reveres the music, she loves it, and it's obvious in every word that she sings.
Danny Barker played guitar with Cab Calloway, Louis Armstrong, Billie Holiday, all the greats from back in the day.
It's a 1938 Gibson Super 400. This is one of Danny Barker's guitars. It's the one that was on some of these original recordings with Lulu Barker, and it just sounds great. Upon Danny's death, he gave it to Steve Mazurkowski. And Steve Mazurkowski was one of my teachers. He would bring this guitar out to the Danny Barker Festival. And when this record was coming about, I asked him, would he mind if I played it on the session? And he was gracious enough to make it happen.
Specifically, to hear Danny Barker's guitar on this record is so heavy because it is the exact guitar that was on the records whose music we are re-recording. I know that's been his axe since the 30s, since the 40s. If you look at the old YouTube videos with him playing with Billie Holiday, that's the guitar he's playing.
This is an important piece of American history right here.
Back in the very early days of recording, a band used to set up in front of 5 huge shells. They'd play the music once, and that would mean 5 records were just manufactured. Then they'd reload the machines, play the song again, 5 more records are manufactured. So back in the early 17s, you could find 2 records of the same tune by the same band recorded on the same day. They sound totally different. Then it became where one microphone was in a room and they'd position the musicians around that microphone. The early Blue recordings, if you listen, it's all vocals. You can barely hear the band, and when she stops singing, the engineer turns up the background and the band comes up a little bit. Where we're capturing the spirit of how they used to record music is we're all playing it live. There's no overdubs, there's no adding it later, there's very little enhancing of the sound after the fact. We're playing music and recording this music the way it was intended to be recorded, which is with a live spirit.
We're all about feel, her and I. She is all about the groove and the melody and just the overall feel of the song. For years now, I've been thinking about how we would record this. We're definitely trying to do everything live, no click track, no metronome. Every take's different, trying to use as many older mics as possible, older sounding preamps. Besides a couple of glass doors, everybody's almost in the same room with each other. As far as the caliber of musicians, it doesn't get any better. These are all first call guys.
As I'm doing these tunes now and just preparing for this recording, I hate to use the word, but I swear as I'm rehearsing with the guys, I sometimes feel like I'm channeling her. But doing these songs, there's just a certain kind of saucy, girlish, kind of flirtatious attitude. And as I sing the songs, I find myself slipping into that mode.
All music starts with rhythm. So having me in the center as the drummer, everyone could kind of see what I'm playing, see how I'm playing, as well as hearing it. Being able to see visually what the drummer is doing kind of sparks them to play a certain kind of way because they can see the rhythm and they can see how it's developing. But when you deal with human people and really the true human spirit, there's a push and there's a pull. You want to stay consistent, but sometimes, the spirit of the music kind of will propel you to go a little bit behind the beat, maybe just for an expression. I was the timekeeper, and everybody else kind of locked into the times of the drums.
It's a distinctly New Orleans experience. Everything is live.
The music lives and breathes. There's just an atmosphere that's a part of it. If we were all, playing to a click and real sterile type of situation, it wouldn't be the same joyous feel.
My first love is out of mind, and he's way, way out of sight. He served me breakfast every morning and sent me